My name is Mark. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon. This is not a story about one day. It is a story about 1 year, 12 months of small Sundays that changed how I see life. Chapter 1. The First Sunday. It started on a warm Sunday in April. The rain had stopped, the clouds had moved away, and the whole city looked washed and clean. I woke up in my small apartment, made coffee, and opened the window. The air smelled of wet trees and fresh soil. I had no big plans. Just a notebook, a water bottle, and a curious mood. I walked to the river and sat on a bench. Around me, children rode scooters, people walked dogs, and a man played saxophone under the bridge. I wrote one simple line in my notebook. Today feels like a beginning. I didn't know what kind of beginning, but something inside me told me to keep paying attention. Chapter 2. Markets and Music. The next Sunday, I went to the farmer's market. Rows of stalls were filled with strawberries, bread, honey, and flowers. A woman gave me a free slice of apple pie. I ate it slowly while watching a street musician play guitar. His music wasn't perfect. A few notes were off, but his smile was real. People stopped, clapped, and some dropped coins into his case. I thought, maybe life is not about being perfect. Maybe it's about being brave enough to share what you have. Chapter 3. A Stranger with a Canvas. One afternoon, I noticed a man painting near the river. I watched him for a while. The colors were quick, messy, but alive. I said, "That's really good." He replied, still painting, "Thanks." I try to paint the feeling of the day, not just the picture. That sentence stayed in my head for weeks. The feeling of the day. I began to wonder, what would it be like if I tried to paint my own days, not with brushes, but with words, moments, and choices? Chapter 4. Food Carts and Conversations. Portland is famous for food carts. One Sunday I chose a taco and sat at a table where strangers also sat. Two college students were laughing loudly about exams. A woman across from me typed quickly on her laptop. I ate slowly, enjoying the flavors, but more than that, I enjoyed the feeling that we were all part of the same picture. Different lives, one shared table. Chapter 5. The Balloon on the Bus. On another Sunday, I took the bus to Washington Park. A little boy sat across from me with a dinosaur balloon. Every time the bus turned, the balloon bumped into people. Instead of being annoyed, everyone laughed. The boy laughed too. His laughter filled the bus like sunlight. I realized that small joys can change the air in a whole room or a whole bus. Chapter 6. Hills and Silence. At the park, I lay on the grass and looked at the skyline. Tall buildings looked small compared to the mountains behind them. Couples lay on blankets. Kids rolled down hills. Dogs chased balls. I wrote in my notebook, sometimes the city is loud, but from up here, it looks soft, almost fragile. Chapter 7. Summer Arrives. In June, the city turned green and alive. On Sundays, I walked along the river at night. Food trucks were open, street performers juggled fire, and music floated everywhere. One night, I met a man selling handmade bracelets. He said, "Each one takes an hour. Each one is different." I bought a simple blue one. I still wear it. It reminds me that time is not wasted when it creates something real. Chapter 8. Meeting Clare. In July, I met Clare. She was sitting on the grass at a free outdoor concert. I asked if I could share the blanket space near her. She smiled and said yes. We listened to the band together, not talking much. But when the music ended, we started a conversation. She worked at a library. She loved books, coffee, and long walks, three things I also loved. That Sunday night, walking home, I thought, sometimes friendship begins not with words, but with silence shared under music. Chapter 9. Coffee and Quiet. Claire and I started meeting on Sundays. Sometimes we walked in parks. Sometimes we sat in cafes. Sometimes we said almost nothing, just shared space. Once she told me, I like Sundays because they feel like soft days. No pressure, no rush. I agreed, and soon I began to call my notebook the Book of Soft Days. Chapter 10, Learning to Slow Down. Before this year, I rushed a lot. I checked emails too often, scrolled on my phone, felt guilty if I wasn't productive. But Sundays with Claire taught me something. Productivity is not only about work. It can also mean resting well, noticing deeply, or laughing without reason. Chapter 11, Rain Returns. By October, the rain was back. Sundays became slower. Claire and I sat in cafes with steamed windows, watching the drops fall outside. We talked about books. She recommended a novel about a man who walks the same street every day and finds something new each time. That's boring, I said. No, she replied. That's life. Chapter 12, A Hard Day. Not every Sunday was easy. One rainy afternoon, I felt heavy and tired. Work had been stressful. My boss wanted faster designs, more results. I told Claire, I feel like I'm failing. She looked at me and said softly, failing is not falling. Failing is staying down. You're still standing. Her words stayed with me. Chapter 13, Winter Lights. In December, Portland put up holiday lights. Claire and I walked downtown, holding cups of hot chocolate. The air was cold, but the city glowed warm. I thought, maybe the point of winter is not the dark, but the light we decide to bring into it. Chapter 14, A New Year. On the first Sunday of January, I wrote in my notebook, this year, I want to keep collecting soft days, one by one, until they become a soft life. Chapter 15, Small Traditions. By spring, Sundays had their rhythm. Morning coffee, long walks, shared meals, writing in my notebook. Sometimes alone, sometimes with Claire. Life wasn't perfect. I still had worries, bills, deadlines. But Sundays gave me balance. They reminded me that a week is not just work days. It also needs breathing days. Chapter 16, Saying Goodbye. In July, Claire told me she was moving to Seattle for a new job. We sat by the river, silent for a while. Finally, she said, don't stop your soft Sundays. I promised I wouldn't. That evening, I felt sad, but also grateful. Some people enter your life not to stay forever, but to leave you with a gift. Claire's gift was the habit of slowing down. Chapter 17, Alone Again. The next Sundays were quieter. I walked alone, wrote alone, drank coffee alone. But I wasn't truly lonely, because Claire's voice was still in my memory. One line of hers repeated in my head. No pressure, no rush. Chapter 18, Teaching Myself. In September, I began teaching myself guitar on Sundays. I was terrible at first. My fingers hurt, my notes buzzed. But slowly, I learned a few chords. I thought of the street musician from the market months ago. His music wasn't perfect, but his smile was real. I smiled too, even when I played badly. Chapter 19, A Letter to Myself. One rainy Sunday, I wrote a long letter to myself. You don't need to be the fastest or the best. You just need to keep showing up, to the page, to the walk, to the music, to life. Sundays are proof that soft effort still matters. Chapter 20, The Last Sunday of the Year. A year had passed since that first sunny Sunday in April. I returned to the same bench by the river with my notebook. The city looked different, but also the same. I wrote one final line. This year, I learned how to live gently. Not in a rush, not in fear. Just one soft Sunday at a time. And for the first time, I closed the notebook not because the day ended, but because the lesson was complete. Reflection. Now, when people ask me, what changed your life? I don't say a big event. I don't say a new job, or a move, or a lucky chance. I simply say, A year of small Sundays. Because sometimes, the biggest change comes from the smallest habit, showing up to life slowly, gently, fully.